Alright, hello, my name is Mr. Icarus, and this is the second match of the 4PL tournament. Playing today are going to be Decerto team on the Radiant side and Fnatic North America on the Dire. Decerto, I think, fairly new to the Dota 2 scene. They do have teams that play Counter-Strike, StarCraft 2, and that sort of thing, but I'm not sure how good they are or if they've had any real presence so far in any major Dota 2 tournaments. Fnatic, of course, a very well-known name, just created their new North American squad, so they're going to have two teams, I believe, one representing Europe and the other one, this new one, representing North America. I believe this is their first tournament for Dota 2, first broadcasted one at least on the Dota 2 client, and it'll be very interesting to see how well they do, and if they're able to produce comparable results to their European counterparts. Alright, well, we already have a pause, but we'll go ahead and go on to the Fnatic side and list off the characters. MSS is going to be playing Puck. F4L, maybe Fail, is going to be playing Leshrac. Fun on Rubick. Smurf Dota, a fairly well-known name, I believe, already. Going to be playing Anti-Mage. And Hannah Montana on the Dark Seer. Dark Seer probably going to be going solo off lane. I would be very surprised if we didn't see a Rubick or Puck mid, probably Puck mid, and then the others doing an aggressive tri-lane on top. Could be wrong though. And then over here on Team Decerto, we're going to see Pantelija on Shadow Demon, Stoja on Lina, AGSR, can't really read that very well, CGSR, he did disconnect on the Night Stalker, and dagon on Gyrocopter. And JaroU on Magnus. I must have missed that one. So it'll be very interesting to see what these two teams do. Fnatic, of course, does have a fairly good pedigree. This is going to be the second team flying with the yellow-black colors under their name. So it'll be cool to see if the North American team is able to keep up with Europe. I do know that there was an acquisition recently. I can't remember which player, but they were very excited. Something of a young player, but very experienced in Dota. Had played in a couple of the U.S. tournaments and supposed to be quite capable. So it'll be very cool to see what they're able to pull off with the new team. And it looks like we have our second reconnect, and should be looking to restart any second now. Decerto, no time even to buy items yet. And there's the G. Are we good? And waiting for it. Yes, they are ready. Alright, and so the game will kick off. They'll be picking up their items. And one of my favorite parts of any match is always seeing what courier gets picked up by each team. It's very crucially important to how the match is going to go. It looks like we may end up having a tri-lane, or they're just going to be fairly aggressive here. Level 1, try to catch someone out and get first blood very early. And do any of them have smoke? Yes, Shadow Demon does have the smoke. They'll be popping that, I bet you. And it'll be very interesting to see if they can catch anybody out here. The entirety of Fnatic going up, of course, top to see if they can't catch anybody out. Maybe be a little bit aggressive. And I think both teams here, it'll be very cool to see who manages to get off what. Not smoked, and gonna check. Don't know if they've been seen yet or not. They're going to plop a ward down right in the middle, try to block that camp from going up. And perhaps they were just guarding while the wards came out. I don't think we're going to see anything here before the creeps start rolling. Wards, of course, going up. Usual vision of the runes. And now I'm very excited to see what Fnatic can do in this match, in this tournament. Alright, so it does look like we're going to have the tri-lane up top. Gyrocopter probably going to be picking up most of the farm. Lina, of course, going Light Strike Array. First points first. And that'll be definitely very difficult for whoever ends up on the top lane to deal with. Looks like we have a little bit of aggressive play here by the Leshrac. they don't look to have put down any jungle wards, but Magnus is going to be soloing bottom lane, and on the mid lane, Seer against the Anti-Mage. Shouldn't be too bad for the Anti-Mage there. He should be able to pick up quite a bit of farm. And Jaro going to have to deal with the Ion Shell damage, of course, from Darkseer, a huge pain in the butt. Would have expected Darkseer to be going solo. It is possible, though, that he will, but right now they're definitely going to try to harass Magnus fairly heavily. And we see a lot of moving around in the jungle from Decerto fairly early on. Are they going to end up pulling back? Just intercepting the creeps a little bit, but they are, of course, now seen. So Magnus knows not to go over there, not to get harassed. And it looks like he'll be trying to play it safe. And I'm not really sure what Decerto's doing over here, losing a lot of experience and, well, just anything for the Lina here. Lina and Shadow Demon not picking up anything, not really able to make anything happen, haven't been able to find the puck. They did drop the wards down, so they should be able to keep track of any movement through the jungle there. But it's going to be a little difficult. The tri-lane down here on the off is going to be just not quite as good. And Magnus is able to hide down. They're going to put a lot of extra pressure, early pressure, on that tower, and we do see the support coming in, I believe. Yes, Lina is going to be coming down bottom, as well as Shadow Demon. They're going to look to try and make something happen here. If Lina can get off the stun, or if Magnus can get off a skewer, which he does have, then we might be able to see something interesting happening.
Bottom tower is under attack.
The Disruptor just not fast enough to be able to make anything happen. Both level 1, no points to anything else. Magnus level 3, Darkseer level 2. 2. Already putting themselves at kind of a level disadvantage here. They've been roaming around a lot, but haven't been able to make anything happen. And, you know, already during the try, you're sharing experience, so that's going to make things, of course, difficult for any team.
Double down on sorcery.
Anti-Mage picks up the double damage rune, and let's see if he's going to end up diving Nightstalker here, try and go for the early damage, or just try and snag some farm before he goes off. No bottles yet. Nobody went early bottle. Did get the pick up the poor man's shield. Nightstalker, of course, able to put out a bit more harass. And as we see it going to nighttime, did already pick up the bottle. Seeing it going to nighttime, he'll get a lot more dangerous. Probably leave the mid lane and to go harass. Looks like Stoja got sighted out, and Leshrac's going to pull back. They do see the pressure and see that they can't catch Darkseer out. There's the disruption, and will we see a light strike array? Yes, there's a damage a little too early. Doesn't manage to catch him. Doesn't see the damage, and they're going to need to pull back. Leshrac, of course, able to put out quite a bit of damage, as well as Darkseer with that Iron Shell. Magnus just a little bit far away. If he had been up there, perhaps they could have made some little extra happen. And does get the Earth split, or split Earth, sorry, off. And it looks like Leshrac is killed. Might have gotten hit by creep there. Assist is going to go to Shadow Demon and Magnus. Does that count as first blood? Possibly 418 gold. I do not know if that counts as first blood. I believe so. And they'll see if they can be able to take another one. Stoja not able to get off the light strike away, is lifted up by the Rubick. Does manage to hit the Rubick with it though, and they're going to be able to do some damage, but still just not enough chase. They're not fast enough. They don't have the length and stuns that they're really going to kind of need to make this lane just miserable for the three Fnatics down here on bot. Looks like Anti-Mage coming across. No, I'm sorry. Seer coming across is going to pick up the regen rune, and this will make him a little bit dangerous. Will he come across and look for a little bit of damage help? No, he's going to go back mid. And Hannah Montana chasing down, going to try to look for the kill, and is going to get forced off by the rest of Decerto. All right, go and take a look at the last hits here. Anti-Mage pulling very, very far ahead of Nightstalker. We do know that Fnatic is a very strong team, or has a history of being very strong. Haven't seen much of this North American team, of course. But Smurf Dota definitely racking up those last hits. Gyrocopter doing well on the bottom, or I'm sorry, on the top lane against Puck. But Puck keeping up certainly much better than Nightstalker is on the mid lane. Go ahead and take a look at the levels here. And pulling ahead a little bit. And it does look like we're going to have a lot more action here on the bottom lane. It's interesting to see when the first real big push comes along. Bot lane is sharing quite a bit of experience here, although between three more supporty characters, perhaps it is not so bad a thing. But really, I mean, Leshrac just needs the levels Rubick needs levels. Darkseer needs levels. Items not so much of a big deal, but the last hits, of course, would still be useful. Although Darkseer able to pick up quite a lot just due to Ion Shell and all that pressure back damage. We do see the Surge. Lina getting hit by Split Earth. This save by the Disruption isn't going to be enough. A lot of damage coming in, and Leshrac is able to take her down. Diabolic Edict still going even through the Disruption, and Lina not able to get far enough away to get away from that damage. So, kill going the way of Fnatic, and that's going to be absolutely brutal. Night Stalker popping his regen. Might have just timed out, but not able to get close enough. Looks like Anti-Mage really able to keep him off the farm. Getting a lot of denies. He's only denied twice for Anti-Mage's 9.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I do believe that Smurf is really controlling the runes here, despite not having any wards to help him out. Really absolutely taking advantage of it. Fnatic taking the bottom tower. That's going to make life a lot harder here for the Magnus trying to pick up farm. Magnus not doing so great, only 6 last hits to Darkseer's 31. Always hard to take, and at even the best of cases. And Smurf able to take the courier. That's going to be an extra 200 gold to I think every single member on the team. And this might be his death unless he's able to recover enough health. No, Gyrocopter's rocket only at level 1 won't be able to do enough damage, I don't think. And he will, with a great tango and a little bit of dodging, be able to survive that. A little bit brutal, man. Short of a kill if you can get the courier. And that's going to be, of course, a huge, huge loss for the Radiant side here. Make things very difficult here in the early game, especially when they need the items coming out, and especially with the fact that they've lost this tower. They have an entire lane that now can't get to the side shop. This is definitely going to set them back and make things a little bit easier for Fnatic down here in the bot lane. And they're definitely taking full advantage of that fact. The Leshrac and the Rubick pressuring very hard, and it looks like we're going to see a lot of damage coming the way of Lina. That Diabolic Edict absolutely shredding. Absolutely shredding Lina, and another kill, I think, going to Darkseer. He just came and took the last hit. Leshrac absolutely doing insane amounts of damage with Diabolic Edict. 25 per second, I believe. Over 8 seconds, and with every single one hitting Lina, that's just a lot of damage coming out very quickly. Lina, of course, with not much health, only 587. Very squishy, only 2 iron branches, and man, second death to that Diabolic Edict. If they can catch her out anymore, I mean, she's just going to be completely useless for the rest of this game. Same thing going to Night Stalker. First nighttime cycle has already come, and we haven't seen him really been able to make anything in particular happen. Was trying to run down there, I believe, but didn't quite pull it off. Looks like they smoked up, but unfortunately it's not going to be all that useful for the Shadow Demon. And it does look like the roaming gank squad, Leshrac and Rubick, coming around, going to try and put some pressure on Gyrocopter, see if they can't get the kill, and give Puck the opportunity to get a bit more farm. Gyrocopter, of course, leading the way with farm currently, but that flat cannon is pretty brutal for being able to push them off. I'm surprised that the tower didn't attack him there. He gets locked down. We're going to see the Rubick. And there's the ulti. Will be able to do enough damage for him to be able to pull off. Rocket Barrage getting absorbed by way too many creeps, and he's going to get taken down to Leshrac. So I believe that's 2 kills going the way of F4L or Fail on Leshrac, and Fnatic really making quite an aggressive first game here. Really kind of taking the initiative from Decerto and saying, you know what, you've got to be worried that we're going to be in your jungles. We're going to be behind you. We're going to be taking you out when you're not looking. But here we go, Decerto looking to make something of their own happen. Doesn't see the Puck. Looks like he couldn't find him out. He is hiding in the trees and just so close. 4 of them up here if they could have found him. All 5, and it looks like they're going to go for a push in the top tower. I expect to see some TPs coming this way soon. Darkseer, of course, does have a scroll. Looks like Anti-Mage will just stay bot and keep farming, I bet you anything. And looks like he went for the... and does manage to pick off the kill on Lina. Very low health. Hits her with the ball, and Lina 3 deaths already, only 10 minutes in. She's going to have a lot of trouble keeping up with the rest of this game, just taking way too much damage from these magical attacks. and not without nearly the levels that she needs to be able to return that kind of just massive magical damage that Lina's so good at. She's not level 6. She doesn't have Laguna Blade. We'll go ahead and take a look at the character levels here. Yeah, she's still only a level 3. Her and Shadow Demon running around, not able to get much done, not picking up experience or farm. And they've really sort of just crippled their own team. Both of their supports, everybody else has been getting farm. Night Stalker not so much, but you know, on Decerto, Night Stalker's been getting kind of okay farm, but their supports have no farm. Both supports are very level dependent. Shadow Demon, of course, one of the strongest supports in the game, in the meta right now. Lina be able to put out huge burst damage, and she just can't. She's probably got what 2 points in Light Strike Array and 2 points in Dragon Slave, 1 in Light Strike Array. 90, 170, that's 260, and whatever 75% of that is all she can put out for a total cost of 200 mana. It's just not able to compete with the power that's going to be coming out of Leshrac, Dark Seer, or even Puck's Illusory Orb. Able to put out 280 damage just at one blast, and that's a huge chunk of Lina's health. But so it does look like they're going to try to pressure the mid tower. They know that they do know that Fnatic is down on bottom. Don't know if a tier 1 is really a valid trade for a tier 2 in this sort of way. They are only ahead by 4 kills. So go ahead and take a look at the XP graph here, going 2,000, 2,500-ish the way of Fnatic, and gold almost 5,000. So they are taking early advantage here, but this is by no means irredeemable for Decerto. And we see the smoke. This is probably the 3rd smoke that Decerto has used. Not seeing them turn the smokes into any real sort of action. You expect them to see them try to cut across and maybe cut off the team here. They know that 2 of them were up defending. That's why they pulled back. They're going to turn it into anything here. Shadow Demon a little bit far ahead of the rest of the team, and he's going to take some massive damage from Rubick and get finished off by Puck. Night Stalker does activate the taste, but will he be able to put out enough damage? I don't believe so. Did get tethered. Absolutely unfortunate. And they will be able to get away. So they give up the Shadow Demon, got too far ahead of the team there. Did have the smoke. They didn't have any sight up out into the jungle, so you can't blame them too much for that. But, got too far ahead of the team, got blasted down in only 3 or 4 seconds. Just Fnatic definitely making much better use of the burst damage that their team is capable of than Decerto is able to at this moment. Oh, and it looks like we have the same courier on both sides, except this one has big glowing eyes. So props to whoever owns that. Very rare courier. And I'm going to start just farming up the jungle. I do think this is going to be one of the big issues that Decerto is going to have to try and deal with, is that they're unable to get the amount of farm that Fnatic has been able to pull. Anti-Mage pulling way ahead, definitely needs his farm. You can go ahead and take a look right now at what he's got. Only about 1,200, I believe. Yeah, 1,200 gold, or, well, he already has 200. So, about 1,000 gold away from finishing his Battle Fury. Battle Fury, of course, kind of that Anti-Mage staple, going to massively accelerate his farm. And, that's something that they really don't want him to get. They haven't been able to get a kill on him. Anti-Mage is, of course, very difficult to kill. He has the blink, but you want to be able to keep him off of the farm, and Night Stalker was just unable to do that on the mid lane. They weren't able to pressure Anti-Mage off of the mid lane farm. Lina and Shadow Demon were just kind of waltzing around bottom, trying to keep Magnus safe, and weren't able to make it happen. Up top, they spent too much time walking around through the jungle here. So, I think really, if Decerto ends up taking this one, it's going to be down to, I believe, their supports play. Just weren't able to kind of get the map control that they needed, and Leshrac and Rubick running around were able to do exactly that. Keep them on their toes, keep them not feeling safe, get a bunch of those early ganks, especially on Lina, and absolutely just dissolve Decerto's players. Another big problem that Decerto has is they don't have any wards. Not a great issue. The supports are taking quite a lot of hits and quite a bit of death. But it looks like we're going to see, yes, Puck ulti goes out. Veil gets tied down. I would be very surprised if we didn't see Lina go down here. Leshrac still hasn't popped Diabolic Edict, so that's a lot of damage just waiting. And it looks like Magnus is going to go down here. Just a concerted effort, 4 players. None of Decerto together. Lina going down very quick. Magnus getting picked off. and I don't know if they're going to be able to stop him here, but Night Stalker just kind of getting out of the way. And will they turn around and try to save him here? There's the Surge and taking quite a lot of Ion Shell damage, and yes, Puck able to get the kill with the Illusory Orb, doing quite a lot of damage. And there's the stun. Meanwhile, Smurf pushing the top lane, so just huge map control. Absolutely by Fnatic in the game so far, and he's just going to go back and farm. And I do believe he's finished his Battle Fury. Yes. So I'm not really sure what they can do at this point. Night Stalker completely missing the first nighttime cycle, under-farmed, only about half the farm Anti-Mage or even Dark Seer has at this time. Gyrocopter with some good farm, but not able to make use of his damage, really. Barrage would have been, the Rocket Barrage, massive amount of damage he can put out in a very short time. Would have been useful in the bottom lane when they were getting pressured at that time, but he kind of just kept farming and was unable to ever get a kill on Puck. And Magnus with basically Arcane Boots finished, and that's about it. I don't think it's lost, though. I mean, if they can get a very good reverse polarity from the Magnus off on Fnatic, get them all together, and try to kind of blast them down. Fnatic doesn't have any particularly tanky characters or anything like that. They do have a lot of team fight and a lot of good control. But I do think that if Decerto can get that good reverse polarity, lock them in, get a Gyrocopter ulti on them, you know, Night Stalker should be able to put out quite a bit of damage, even though he only has really Ogre Club. You know, just get concerted damage on all the players. I think if they win a couple team fights, then they'll really be back in this game. They do have sort of that massive initiation advantage, I should say, with Magnus, with Shadow Demon, with Gyrocopter for sure, which is something Fnatic doesn't have, but Fnatic's been catching them out one player at a time. And we'll see the Disrupt get a couple illusions up to take some of this tower damage for us, and getting caught a little bit out. Don't know if they're going to be able to do enough damage to take him down, and they are taking tons of illusion damage from this wall. Great wall, putting out a bunch. We're going to see the Diabolic Edict popped, and they're going to try to hunt him out. You see Puck parts of the Illusory Orbs. They do get Night Stalker and Shadow Demon. Leshrac actually putting out an insane amount of damage with Diabolic Edict, and looks like Puck did find Magnus up top, and they're going to be able to take down Gyrocopter. Rubick very low, but they weren't able to get the kill, and counter warding, and just, you know what, I think Decerto is a little bit out of their depth here playing against Fnatic. They're, you know, the few wards that they're able to put up are getting counter warded and pulled out against. They're getting caught separately. They're not able to, they're not seeing the same sort of unity, I should say, of team fight and using their skills together that Fnatic is able to put forth.
Double down on sorcery.
And they're kind of getting to the point here too, where we look at levels, we look at yeah, they're getting you know, under-leveled. They're all under-leveled, under-farmed. They're getting to the point where they're going to have to kind of stick around as a 5, and unless they can get one of these team fights, I just don't see it going their way. Because they can't be out on their own. They can't be out farming. They've lost too many towers to get out. They're almost being basically forced back into their own base at this point. You can't be walking out alone because Fnatic definitely has the site. They have the map presence. They're going to find you. They're going to pick you off. So there's that fear there, and that's going to really, you know, slow down even more Decerto's ability to get farm and get levels. And do we see him grouping up on mid for a mid push? Looks like they are hiding in the trees, trying to just keep out of sight. Don't let them know what's going on. And I think we might be seeing another fairly big team fight here. Looks like they are going to pull back to the tower. Fnatic, of course, aware that they could have something go wrong. Magnus just very dangerous. It is nighttime again, but so far Night Stalker unable to pull any kills, no assists. And this is exactly what you don't want to see with your Night Stalker. Just unable to make the most of the extra speed, the extra damage, the more powerful abilities that he gains at night. And here's the push. Anti-Mage is going to grab him. We do see the disruption. And there's the reverse polarity. Does manage to get most of them. And no, Decerto's still going to go down. Mech popped on the first rocket. That one does the most damage, I do believe. And there, Fnatic able to take out the entire team with very little loss. Might have lost a couple guys there, but great mech by who is the mech? Leshrac doesn't have the mech. Who's the mech? Darkseer. Great mech by Darkseer, able to save his whole team. And it looks like Decerto is going to go ahead and concede the match. So 20 minutes in, these first two matches, very short. Only about 15 or 12 minutes for the last one. I think PW, Fnatic, will host again. Okay. Yeah, same sort of thing. Just teams that are very unevenly matched. We do have a lot of new teams here, teams that we don't really have a good sense of what their experience is and all that in this tournament so far. So I expect to see a few of these games as the tournament starts off, where we just see one team kind of take huge hits from the other team and get wiped out very early. So they did concede. Positive that they couldn't take it back, especially after that. They did get the perfect reverse polarity. Great initiation on the team fight, but weren't able to pull together the damage that it would be required to really make that happen. Vacuum into the wall, great Darkseer play, great Anti-Mage play, able to keep them off of the farm, able to keep map control, and I do believe the North American team for Fnatic is going to make quite the name for themselves as we see these tournaments go on, and hopefully they'll play in more tournaments. So good match by both players. This is the second match for the 4PL tournament. And I'm Mr. Icarus, and if you liked the cast, if you liked the video, please like, please subscribe, and you know, constructive criticisms always welcome. So we'll continue with more of these tomorrow, and until then, have a good day, and thanks for watching.